Hey there, VCHHD students. My name's Andy. I'm a VC Health and Human Development teacher. This short video, we're looking at the VCAA 2025 HHD sample exam, question number 6, suggested sample answers. This is relevant for Unit 3 and 4 HHD for the 2025 plus HHD study zone. Before we dive into this video, just a reminder you can engage with the Health Resources Hub by clicking subscribe. If you're on YouTube at the moment, that means you will get alerts to all of our new videos as they come out across the year, including in the lead up to HHD exam this year. We've also got our website, the hhd.net.au, as opportunities for HHD teachers and students, so please check that out. We've got our Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook pages where you can follow us and get alerts to our new videos and other opportunities, and also email info@hhd.net.au if you'd like to get in touch. Before we dive into this video, just a reminder, we've got some new course notes for Unit 3 and 4 and also Unit 1 and 2 available on our website. So in the lead up to the HHD exam this year for Unit 3 and 4 students, if you want some great notes that cover all the different areas of study across Unit 3 and 4, to make sure you've got all of the appropriate glossary terms and make sure you're covering all the key concepts as part of your revision, you can head to our website and there is a student drop down where you'll come to this page and you can fill this form and we'll be in touch how you can access our notes. We've also got practice questions across Unit 3 and 4 for all the different areas of study. So easy, medium, and hard practice questions and sample answers for all of those. So if you'd like to access those as well, you can also head to our website and fill in this form. Okay, so let's have a look at question 6, which was at 8 marks in the sample exam. So you can see here, A started with some stimulus material. So it mentioned that adults with other disability are more likely to assess their health as good than adults without disability. Those 37% compared with 25%. And then it says their other disability, so disability with status other than severe or profound core activity limitation and needing a relatively low level of assistance or supervision with self-care, mobility, and or communication. So what you're being asked to then do after having a look at that information there is for 2 marks, describe how one commercial factor could account for the statement above about self-assessed health status. So you can see there the statement above about self-assessed health status is talking about adults with other disability being more likely to assess their health as good than adults without. So you've got to come up with a commercial factor that could contribute to these adults with other disabilities being more likely, okay, to assess their health as good than adults without a disability. So remember that commercial factors are somewhat new, okay, to the revised course 2025 plus. And so there's a range of different commercial factors. So that includes things like supply chains, lobbying, okay, advertising and marketing. And so you've got to think about from the range of different sort of commercial factors, what one would perhaps be appropriate to link into this potential difference here about self-assessed health status. So you can see here a couple of suggested sample answers which focus on those sort of marketing strategies. So it says their marketing strategies and use of the media may target adults with other disability, and that could be via something like social media, and portray them in a positive light, so capable and high functioning, increasing their self-assessed health status, so they're more likely to assess their health as good, whereas adults without a disability might not receive such ads, contributing to a lower self-assessed health status than adults with other disabilities, so that lower rating for good. Or you can see that another sample, so marketing strategies and use of the media may target adults without a disability, okay, and present them with ads about achieving ideal fitness levels and body shapes that may not be possible to achieve, and that could lower their self-assessed health status, whereas adults with other disability may not be targeted with such ads, and that could contribute to higher self-assessed health status, so more likely to assess their health as good than adults without a disability. So there's lots of different ways you could answer this question, but based on the information you're providing a suggestion about how a commercial factor could contribute to that difference in self-assessed health status. So you can see that in the considerations, you should always make sure in a response like this, you mention both groups in your response to make it clear how there's a difference in, okay, the factor that you're sort of focusing on as part of your answer. And essentially the suggested mark allocation is a mark for the correct commercial factor and how it could differ between adults with and without disability, and then a mark for a link from that commercial factor to the difference in self-assessed health status. Okay, so before we have a look at part B, just a reminder there's still a couple of opportunities if you want to come along to the ACE HHD exam revision sessions that I'm running this year. There's still one running on the 5th of October and also another one on the 15th of October. They're both running online, so you can join from anywhere in the state. In these sessions, I'll be going over Section A and B exam advice and strategies in the lead up to the exam this year, and also covering all the key concepts across Unit 3 and 4. You get a great set of posted notes. Okay, so that will come to you after you book a spot, and you'll be able to use those as part of your exam preparation. You can also join together a spot at a lecture with that HHD exam revision question book. You can see there on the slide, and it's got over 500 marks worth of practice questions as well as sample answers for all of those and a full trial exam. So if you'd like to bundle that together with the spot of the lecture, you can. That's all at book.acevc.com. Okay, so then B, which was worth 6 marks, was asking you to explain the NDIS in terms of access and sustainability and how this promotes health outcomes. So we've looked at a previous 6 mark question in one of our other videos, and you'll see in that video that they mentioned in the sample exam that that 6 mark question would be marked using a rubric, whereas this one, okay, there was no mention of that in the sample exam. So you can probably think about this one here in terms of how you could break your answer up into sort of 2 3 mark responses, and that essentially there would be sort of 6 key things that examiners would be looking for when it comes to answering a question like this. Obviously, a key thing to think about here, okay, is linking the NDIS to access and then onto health outcomes, and then doing the same for sustainability. And a reminder that health outcomes can refer to health and well-being dimensions and or health status indicators. So that's something important to have in your notes if you don't already. So once again, there's a few different ways you could respond to this particular question, but here's a couple of suggested sample answers, and you'll see these are broken into access and sustainability. So first of all, giving you an example of the NDIS link to access. So it assists people with permanent significant disabilities to reach their goals by providing access to funded support, such as allied health professionals and carers. Also, it's available in all regions in Australia, so that helps people living outside major cities with a disability to access supports. And then that means that people with disabilities across Australia can receive access to people like allied health professionals, like a speech pathologist, and that could help them to improve their communication skills, engage in social relationships, and promote social health and well-being. So you can see there a demonstration of understanding access and then linking it to an aspect of the NDIS, and then linking it on to a dimension of health and well-being in that response there. So then sustainability, each NDIS participant only receives funding for support that's required to assist them to achieve their goals, which helps to keep the cost of operating the NDIS sustainable over the long term. So essentially what that means is that the amount of funding is specific to meet the needs, okay, of the individual. And so funding is not sort of essentially being wasted, and that helps to keep the NDIS sustainable. And that means that people with disability can therefore receive ongoing assistance in achieving their goals via NDS, and that could promote their confidence and self-esteem if it helps them to make progress in their daily life and promote their mental health and well-being. So you'll see both of these samples here linked into a dimension of health and well-being, and that's fine because it mentioned health outcomes, and that can be either dimensions of health and well-being or health status indicators or a combination of both. So you can see there that's mentioned in the considerations, and then it also mentions there because NDIS is used as an abbreviation in the question, it can also be used as an abbreviation as part of your response. And then the suggested mark allocation, so a mark for understanding access, and then a mark for linking access to an aspect of the NDIS, and then linking that onto either health and wellbeing dimension or health status indicator, and then the same structure for sustainability as well. Okay, hopefully you found that useful. Just remember that a question like this one here as well, okay, you could practice doing the same kind of question for any of the 4 aspects of the health system. So you could swap the NDIS out and make that about Medicare, okay, private health insurance, or the PBS. And so that's a good type of question to practice. Also a reminder, if you head to our website, the hh.net.au, you can sign up to our free student newsletter in the lead up to the exam, sending out some emails with some pre-exam resources and advice. And just a reminder, if you're after that revision book, you can head to book.acevc.com and our website if you're after those A+ course notes and practice questions. Thanks so much.